Good evening and welcome. I nearly forgot what time it was. I got no idea. Does anyone know what time it is? Does anybody know what time it is? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Hello, Kim and Princess Jax and Bo and Andrew and Bruce. Hey, Short Order Cook. So yes, it's great to see you all. And the Fox, Chicago, yes. Yes, it was Chicago. I apologize for my hair, still in lockdown, and we still got nothing open. So there's no hairdressers. We're still in, being in Melbourne. We're not looking at getting anything unlocked until at least probably next month. So, yes, I'm still waiting to be able to get the hair cut. So I apologize for the hairstyle. Hello, Tom. How are you? So look, I don't have a lot to talk about tonight, to be honest with you. Rub it in the Fox. I've got a few things to talk about, to look at. There is a Friendly Jordies video we want to look at. We want to look at Bobby. Bobby's been making some videos. It's just come out that the UK police don't have enough evidence to charge Prince Andrew for anything. So that's just come out. There has been a Victorian Labor politician resign over IBAC, which is the which is like ICAT, the Victorian equivalent of ICAT. There's been the resignation from that. So I want to look at that fallout. And we want to look at some Katie Joy clips. And I can tell you now, I'm not going to show you the clip of her trying to sing Bon Jovi. She tried to sing Bon Jovi very poorly. So that's essentially what we've got. So look, we might only be an hour. Depends on how much talking we've got to do. So we'll see how we go. Actually, the Reddit team put together an amazing clip of it all. Yeah, and it's hilarious. So I mean, she did dancing on one clip the other day. Well, now she was trying to sing. There's a few things on Discord. All right, I'll have a look at Discord as well. All right. But yeah, the team from Reddit put together a really cool clip of it all. And it's hilarious. Hello, Meemaw, how are you? So apparently she doesn't understand why Bon Jovi would want to charge, $2,000 for a meet and greet or something, and doesn't he have enough money? Oh, and apparently and allegedly, she says Bon Jovi's voice is damaged or something and he can't reach his high notes. I don't think she actually realizes that most musicians will actually lower the key as they get older, as their range starts reducing. If you listen to even Frankie Valens, from the time that he started, from the time he sang a lot of his songs, anything he sings now is quite down. Yeah, so he's lowered his key. So, but that's actually normal. Only one artist that I know of, John Farnham apparently is one of the few artists who at the age of 70 can still sing in the original keys. There's not a lot of artists that sing in the original key because the voice changes, But anyway. All right. So let's start with hello, Kino Farnsey, yes. And most of that is, yeah, I did a link, I think, the Fox. And most of that is actually chest voice, by the way, for funsies. I actually got to do some vocal singing lessons with Lindsay Field, one of his backing singers. Amazing experience, I can tell you that now. All right. So let's start. Shall we look at who Friendly Jordies has on target now? Because he's got another politician in his sights. And if you haven't seen it, it's a good one. So let's look at Friendly Jordies. Oh, we also have to look at Bobby's new stuff as well. All right. So this is called Craig Kelly Controlled Opposition. So this is Friendly Jordies. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about New South Wales. Their Freedom Day. Well, they're still 10% short of the recommended, what all the medical experts have said for ease of restrictions. I'm very concerned about their kids in the schools, but yeah. All right, let's have a look. Here we go. Let's have a look.
Craig Kelly can't tell the difference between him and a bulldog. And not just physically either, mentally. He forgot to renew the lease on his own website, which had some mysterious legend to take over Craig Kelly MP and put up, brace yourselves.
So did you see that he's just confirmed a politician to a bulldog? So is he going to get himself into more trouble? He seems to have a bit of a spring in his step at the moment, isn't it? He's got a bit of a spring in his step.
Craig Kelly giving himself quite a generous rear admiral using KFC gravy as the lube. I'm sorry, I don't think you appreciate what's happening here. That photo now greets you when you type in CraigKellyMP.com. What a perfect encapsulation of you not renewing your webpage, Craig.
So the politician didn't renew his webpage, and so somebody's taken it and done this to it.
Just fisted yourself. Can't even renew a website. His friends in the press writing articles like, "Oh my God, Friendly Jordies back to controlling Craig."
So the allegation is, my comment on this video, I'll never eat KFC. So they've blamed Friendly Jordies for this. So Friendly Jordies fans seizes control of Craig Kelly's website.
Naturally, that directed 100,000 people to Craig Kelly's website that is now, thanks to this anonymous genius, entirely devoted to explaining why Craig Kelly was what was the wording you selected? Massive kid. Yes, that's the one. Massive kid.
Wow.
Naturally, the idiots of the Telegraph then said, "Oh, took it down," and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what victory looks like.
So, yeah.
Sir, my very loud fedora is doth tip to you to the point that I am indistinguishable from Michael Jackson in Rock My World. Well, not that f***ed up. He looked more dead in that than he did in Thriller. But you did rock my world, mysterious mean lord. This is merely to build on your noble work in convincing anyone who's a fan of Craig Kelly, and not in that, "Ready, everybody? He's about to do something stupid." Like, if you actually think Craig Kelly's advocating for your freedom, let me tell you, the closest thing he advocates for is freedom furniture. He's a furniture salesman by trade. No wonder he's so desperate not to leave Parliament. That sounds worse than being a piece of furniture.
So, he's a furniture salesman, right? And so he's one of the big conspiracy COVID. He's also got all these conspiracy theories on COVID. So we know his qualifications is furniture sales. I don't know. It's a bit like Seinfeld, isn't it? Where every Seinfeld episode has a Superman reference in it. It's sort of getting to be like that. It's like Spot the Simpsons reference.
which Craig would excel at, as I don't think I've ever seen any footage of him moving. And now he's using that 30-plus years experience to reel you in with bait like, "Stop the lockdowns." Oh, really? Sorry, my mistake. Turns out he's not running for federal parliament. Judging from that call, he's running for every premier of every state at exactly the same time. Serving the people, a day a week in each state. Last I heard, as is now his bio of Craig Kelly MP, Craig was a fairly unremarkable backbench Liberal MP.
So he's going through the website. Oh no.
Whence he described Clive Palmer being voted out of Parliament as,
"It's good riddance to Clive Palmer. He was actually a menace."
yes, finally, a politician with some fucking conviction. A man is not afraid to speak his mind and declare
"I am leaving the United Australia Party at the next federal election."
that he's decided to become the federal leader of the party he's glad was gone. What's he going to announce next? "Hey kids, I'm starring in a remake of The Mask." No, don't worry. I'm sure this isn't just the Democratic equivalent of Big Man Tyrone, where you can pack and to say whatever you think is funny. It's just a coincidence that virtually everything Craig Kelly says is funny. Large men, truly large men like Kelly and Clive, who I assume travel around on motorbikes, they can set aside their differences and whigs for a common cause. Just because Craig Kelly's the federal leader of a party set up by a man he described as a menace to Parliament and is 100% bankrolled by that man, doesn't mean that this is a fairly accurate depiction of what's going on. No, Craig Kelly claiming, "I decide policy, I am the leader of the United Australia Party," which is exactly what he did.
Right.
For less than 24 hours before not even Clive Palmer, an assistant of Clive Palmer, said, "Shut the fuck up." Roger that. Just because he's now the head of a party run by a man who he was glad was kicked out of Parliament and is officially on record that he has to do whatever the man he was glad was kicked out of Parliament wants him to do in Parliament, I'm sure there's a great reason for Craig Kelly to be more or less that prostitute that the hologram wife puts herself over in Blade Runner 2049. Very good analogy for someone who can't run a website. But Craig's reason for doing it, the crude reality is that I'll have greater resources. Fucking hell. His reasons are so transparent that even he has to admit, yeah, I'm doing it for the money. Yeah. Craig Kelly must have such a good message to override the fact that he clearly doesn't believe in the message.
He's having a field day at the moment, isn't he?
What is this wildfire idea that no one's ever heard before?
Liberal and Labor have destroyed our economy.
You were a sitting Liberal MP for 11 years. That's not exactly still having your Kmart trainee badge on and deciding, tried it out, not for me.
That's right. He was a sitting Liberal MP for 11 years. He was a government minister, and he's complaining about the government doing nothing.
But in the time you presided over the housing market, most people moved house. Or if they're from my generation, they're still in the same share house they were in at uni, but that's because you were presiding over the housing market the whole time. Yet in 1 week, literally a week after joining the United Australia Party,
They've made $1 trillion debt.
yes, we got that from your very clever stunt of printing how much that looks like, which I've got to say, not that impressive. I think Harry Potter had more money. It also looked more real. But Craig, did you just plumb forget that the key reason we have that much debt is because the Liberals, who Craig Kelly was loosely associated with from a distant time in the past that historians have labelled February, where he and his, quote, great friends that he now thinks have, quote,
Destroyed jobs and families.
I'm assuming the time period in which the Liberals started destroying jobs and families was somewhere between February and August, which historians are now referring to as the Craig Naissance. But
Oh, he's in fine form, isn't he?
the pillar reason we have $1 trillion of debt is because the Liberals have allowed the richest people and the largest corporations in this country to get away with tax evasion so great that up to a third of the ASX 200 don't pay a cent of tax. This teenager saying, you just paid more tax than the ExxonMobil he bought it at. They paid $0. Zero under Craig's watch. Which, to be fair, I'm sure will change now that he has to do exactly what a billionaire wants who entered Parliament, it seems, almost exclusively to reduce his own taxes.
Police using rubber bullets on the streets of Melbourne. The army on the streets of Sydney. Is this the Australia we want? Fight back. Join the United Australia Party.
Well, I know from personal experience that that's exactly what you want, Beefy, is when I visited your house while you were selling it, even put up a flag of your favourite country. You know what?
So he went to Craig Kelly's open house. I love it.
Personal experience that that's exactly what you want, Beefy, is when I visited your house while you were selling it, even put up a flag of your favourite country. You know why? Because that's what people do in that part of the world when they visit someone's house. They give them a nice little gift, Craig. Yet you, Mr. Anti-Police State, returned the favour by trying to get the police to throw me in the slammer. He was that upset that I wasn't thrown in the dungeons for daring to dirty an MP's house, no less.
Nah, mate, you don't understand. Cops should be enforcing ridiculous laws specifically for MPs because we're,
better than everyone else.
Well, if you took the words out of my mouth, I didn't say it.
How's he voted the last decade? Strongly against more scrutiny on federal police at ASIO. As a Lib, he would have voted for every increase in policing powers over the last decade, and that might be because he watched Mike and Molly and thought,
this Mike character really speaks to me.
Or it could be for the same reason his next call to arms reigns so hollow. Can you guess? No one's ever said it before.
Protect freedom of speech. Choices for all Australians.
That is from a YouTube video where the comments are turned off.
It's killing me.
Protect freedom of speech. Choices for all Australians.
That is from a YouTube video where the comments are turned off.
I'm gonna play that again.
Mike character really speaks to me.
Or it could be for the same reason his next call to arms reigns so hollow. Can you guess? No one's ever said it before.
Protect freedom of speech. Choices for all Australians.
That is from a YouTube video where the comments are turned off.
Guess who else would do something like that out of interest? We're gonna have it one more time.
Arms reign so hollow. Can you guess? No one's ever said it before.
Protect freedom of speech. Choices for all Australians.
That is from a YouTube video where the comments are turned off. Official message from a party headed by a man who threatened to bankrupt me because my free speech pissed him off. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, like a woman from his electorate wondered who wrote to him on his Facebook page, words to the effect of, "You don't actually believe what you're saying, do you?" At which point, she was blocked from his page, along with anyone else who dares question him before he was blocked from Facebook altogether, at which point he started whining about, "This is an interference."
They removed his page. They removed his page for misinformation.
At which point, she was blocked from his page, along with anyone else who dares question him before he was blocked from Facebook altogether, at which point he started whining about, "This is an interference with democracy." Oh, come on. Craig Kelly is the kid at school that was always bitching, "No, I'm not out." I'm not. It was on the line. And then as soon as he brings his own ball, nah, you're out. Off, Kevin, you're out. Because it's my ball, Kevin. Fuck off. Craig Kelly is not a free speech warrior. Craig Kelly is what happens when a joke candidate actually gets elected, interrupting your precious viewing of Do Dinosaurs Still Exist to say,
not only are dinosaurs still alive today, but you could easily make...
They might exist again if Clive gets his bag. Let me tell you something.
I've already watched this today.
Craig Kelly has about as much chance of becoming the next PM as Pat Peters does. Pat actually probably would be a better PM too, as at least it falls into the ABC charter that Triple J should, quote, stay in its fucking lane. So what's the point? Why is Craig making a massive ass of himself somewhere in Australia every 8 milliseconds? Get his, quote, good friends back in, of course.
I have many great friends in that little party room.
The clue's in the name. The United Australia Party was the OG Liberal Party until they f***ed up the war so much that Robert Menzies had to dissolve it and then came back saying, no, I'm the same man, but just my background's blue now. Craig just reversed it back to yellow. And you know why? It's amazing. It's almost as genius as Craig MP.
Look at the mask.
No, I'm the same man, and just my background's blue now. Craig just reversed it back to yellow. And you know why? It's amazing. It's almost as genius as CraigMP.com. 1 in 5 Australians were hesitant about getting the vaccines. That is a hell of a lot of people for Craig to pander to with messages like,
After COVID-19 vaccines, 487 deaths and 52,546 adverse events. We need a government inquiry now.
but the Liberals can't be seen endorsing that. And so what happens is that Craig Kelly's votes get funneled into the Liberals through preferences. Exactly what Clive did in the last election of, are you ready for a new paradigm of politics? Clive Palmer presents both major parties.
Someone had to say it.
And then as soon as it was over, yes, Liberals got elected and it was all because of me. Sucked in. And now they're going to pull it again. That is why you've got to follow Linda Seymour's example. You've got to point out, wherever you come across his supporters, does he actually believe any of it? Because to me, he's nothing more than a furniture salesman selling what appears to be the boldest and most ambitious tax dodge in history. As the longer the Libs are in, the less tax Clive Palmer has to pay, the better the stunts for Kelly as he stands in the press conference saying, oh my God, now there's 2 pounds. I know who's responsible for this. Liberal and Labor. Vote Liberal. All you need to know is Craig Kelly is essentially on a kamikaze mission for ScoMo. ScoMo saw that he was hemorrhaging votes for his complete mismanagement of COVID, and to shore up that flank, he said, Craig, I need you to kill yourself to save your party. Yeah, okay, we're doing this, boss. No, mate, I mean electorally, not actually. Oh, yeah, right, yeah, no worries. You're actually dead set on sending a message to the Liberal and Labor Party. Don't vote for a minor party like United Australia or One Nation. They're just Liberal Party preference sponges. Vote Labor, because if there's one thing that causes disunity in the Labor Party, it's winning an election. Seriously, at the least, check out your local independent candidate because they're going to do a better job than Craig Kelly. Yes, even crazy John McDonald, whose only policy is, let's build ants nests on every street. Why? I don't know. At least he believes what he's saying. So, like and subscribe if you see through Craig Kelly's game.
So there you go. So he's lining up Craig Kelly, and don't forget, Clive Palmer tried to sue him as well. So he's had a few people go after him and talking about suing. There has been some more documents appear in the court file today. So there are subpoena to produce documents. Now, one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. My understanding is that these are requests to the court, and then these are the court documents. That's my understanding. I may be wrong because I'm not a lawyer. But according to the federal court site, so this is it's subpoena and notice to produce practice notes. This week on Bruz and the Beautiful. I'll have to do that, Bruz and the Beautiful. So these are the practice rules about subpoenas, what they can and can't be. How to apply for subpoena. So they've got to put in a request, and then following the subpoena request, the subpoena may be issued. And there's 3 different types of subpoenas. You've got the subpoena to give evidence, subpoena to produce documents, or subpoena to give evidence and produce documents. So the one that they've filed is to produce documents. And again, we don't know who the subpoenas have gone to, but there's obviously some documents out there. There's obviously quite a bit of documents out there that are going to be, that they want. So it might be to his staff. But they're all filed, they've all been filed by Shanks. So these are Jordan's subpoenas here to produce documents. So they're still going ahead as if they're going for trial. They're still going ahead as if the mediation does not exist at this point in time. Because that's on the 26th of October. So that is what is happening there. All right. Let's look at something that let's go to Federal Treasurer Frydenberg. Yes, he frightens me. Look, I don't think mediation will work. Yeah, I don't believe mediation will work. So Treasury confirms it knew government was paying out billions in JobKeeper to firms that will not need support. Now, this is really interesting because we know that there were many multinational companies that made profits that got JobKeeper. Treasury says $27 billion in JobKeeper payments went to businesses whose turnover either increased or did not decline as much as required, but has dismissed calls to introduce a clawback mechanism and defended the scheme's design. What is interesting is that it's been the people that got the JobKeeper payments, the people that needed them, that have been criticised for ripping off the system, when in fact $27 billion went to companies that weren't eligible. To qualify for the $1,500 payment for the first 6 months, businesses with a turnover of less than $1 billion needed to forecast a 30% decline in revenue in a single month or quarter over a 6-month period. Those who had over $1 billion needed to forecast a 50% decline. Treasury's analysis confirms that through the three months to June last year, $11.4 billion went to businesses that did not suffer their forecast 30% or 50% drop in turnover. Another $15.6 billion were paid out in the 3 months of September for firms not meeting the eligibility test. What on earth? Of the $27 billion, $13.2 billion went to businesses whose fall in turnover was less than forecast. Another $13.8 billion went to businesses that enjoyed higher than forecast turnovers, but Treasury said the bulk of those that got overpaid were not big businesses. Well, and that's the thing. Qantas got JobKeeper. My brother was working for Qantas as a baggage handler at the time and lost his job. And I was really angry because we knew JobKeeper was designed where the government would pay so that the person actually had a job to return to. But apparently, Qantas was able to sack them. So its data shows that the majority of these payments went to businesses with revenue below $50 million, They accounted for $22.5 billion, 83% of the payments to businesses that did not report the expected declines in turnover in both quarters, and $12.1 billion of the payments to businesses with turnover increases. So, in the 3-month review of JobKeeper, which finalised in late June, Treasury continued to let companies test on expected rather than actual declines in revenue. So you could have said, we're going to have a fall in revenue, and this is what we think it's going to be, but it's not actual. They were doing predicted, not actual. It is understood that this risked making payments to businesses that recovered quickly and may not need support by the end of the period, Treasury confirmed. After September 2020, the JobKeeper payment was tapered down. Remember, it went down through January, and the scheme ended on March 28, 2021. Treasury said a mechanism to claw back payments from businesses that performed better than expected was not introduced to avoid job losses. The introduction of such a mechanism would likely have reduced the overall level of activity and muted its recovery. So I know that some of the big multinationals have had to pay back or have paid back. Harvey Norman was one. There was a furniture shop, wasn't there? Firms with more than 250 million turnover got 11% of payments. 99% of entities receiving JobKeeper had a turnover less than 50 million or were not-for-profits, and over 80% of JobKeeper payments went to these entities. These groups were particularly vulnerable to the impact of health restrictions because of their limited ability to weather economic shocks. It said that by May 2020, it was estimated that 12% of JobKeeper recipients, roughly 375,000 workers, had been stood down from their jobs and were receiving JobKeeper payments. From June to September 2020, an average of about 260,000 stood down workers were receiving payments due to JobKeeper. In the first 6 months of the program, JobKeeper went disproportionately to more productive businesses, particularly ones that were financially fragile, and that may have had difficulty surviving during the period of reduced revenue during restrictions. This helped prevent longer-term scarring by preserving. That's right. Some businesses did not have large declines in their turnover in the first 6 months of the program when compared to a year. Now, they're saying that, the government's essentially patting themselves on the back. That the unemployment rate would have peaked 5 percentage points higher and remained above 12% for 2 years if they hadn't had JobKeeper. JobKeeper enabled Australian economy to rebound strongly, saved more than 700,000 jobs. By March 2021, Australia had surpassed its pre-COVID levels of GDP and employment, a better outcome than all the major advanced economies. So they're saying. So JobKeeper was specifically designed not as a furlough scheme, but as one that enabled business to adapt and stay open. It was this feature combined with the 6-month guaranteed support and the absence of clawback mechanisms that allowed JobKeeper to not only save jobs, but to create them. I don't know many people that got jobs during that time, to be honest with you, but, All right. I agree, Physics Down Under. In theory, JobKeeper was a really good idea. It was just poorly executed. Very poorly executed. My daughter was working for a franchise. She was on youth allowance. It made her, she could get an extra payment, so it actually worked out the same. She decided not to take JobKeeper, and they were getting JobKeeper on her behalf and not passing it on to her. So they were in a little bit of trouble. That's right, totally clueless. If they were able to employ more people, they didn't need the money. That's what I say. Okay, so there's just been an article come through about Prince Andrew. So we know that he's, I mean, a lot of people are underemployed now. Okay, so UK police dropped Prince Andrew Jeffrey Epstein investigation in the Virginia Giraffe case. Sorry, I've pronounced her name wrong. But British police have said they will be taking no further action after conducting a review of evidence relating to sex crime allegations against Queen Elizabeth's son, Prince Andrew, and the late US financier Jeffrey Epstein. It comes after Prince Andrew was served with an SA lawsuit in the United States last month by American-Australian woman Virginia Giraffe. In August, London's police chief Crescinda Dick said detectives would revisit the allegations for a third time, but not launch an investigation after the lawsuit was filed in the US. At the time, Miss Dick said no one is above the law. So he's denied the allegation. So the review has concluded and there's no further action. So in the civil lawsuit, Giuffre accused Prince Andrew of forcing her to sleep when she was sleep with him when she was underage at the London home of Mr. Epstein's longtime associate Giuffre. All right, Giuffre. Ghislaine Maxwell, Miss Giuffre said Prince Andrew, 61, abused her at Mr. Epstein's mansion in Manhattan and on his private island in the US Virgin Islands. The British royal, who is the ninth in line to the throne, has always denied those allegations or having any relationship with Miss Giuffre. He was forced to step down from royal duties over his friendship with Mr. Epstein, who died by suicide in a Manhattan jail cell while being held on sex trafficking charges. A British newspaper, the Sunday Times, reported that London police had spoken to Miss Giuffre regarding her allegations. The Metropolitan Police Service continues to liaise with other law enforcement agencies who lead the investigation into matters relating to Jeffrey Epstein, the police said in the statement. And last week, lawyers for Prince Andrew were given permission to examine a confidential 2009 agreement between Mr. Epstein and Miss Giuffre, which they hope will absolve him from all liability in the case. So there you go. That is essentially the latest. So the UK police have said all right. So we're going to make our way to Victoria now. So this is the state that I live in. All right. So there's been an investigation. So New South Wales has IBAC. Okay. Victoria's got IBAC. So minister resigns after allegedly paying membership fees for others in branch stacking scheme. Victorian Aged Care Minister Luke Donnellan has quit Labor Ministry after he was accused of paying Labor Party memberships on behalf of others as part of a branch stacking operation led by former power broker Adam Sumerick. Federal MP Anthony Byrne on Monday told a corruption inquiry that Mr. Donnellan was involved in a factional alliance with Mr. Sumerick and contributed to a kitty, which was used to pay memberships to control branches and secure positions in Parliament for allies. The veteran MP phoned Daniel Andrews on Monday afternoon to inform him he would step down from ministry. He will remain in the Labor caucus on the backbench. It makes Mr. Donnellan the fourth minister to leave his post in relation to the branch stacking affair exposed in 2020. Mr. Byrne is the first witness to face questions at the public IBAC hearing investigating the misuse of taxpayer-funded staff and community grants. He told the hearing that Mr. Sumerick and former Minister Marlene Caruz were coercing electorate and ministerial staff to engage in branch stacking. Asked which MPs had been paying for party memberships, Mr. Byrne said, "I would be aware of Luke and Adam." He said he believed that the two MPs contributed roughly the same amount of money to the scheme. Mr. Donnellan said in a statement that he called Mr. Andrews to tell him that he was stepping down as minister and had accepted that he'd previously breached party rules while a minister. So he went on to say, so that's where they pay membership fees so that they can get people that align. So within each party there are factions, and they paid fees for people to get their votes so that they would all vote the same way. Well, that's what I say. That's what I say, Andrew. If you're corrupt, you're corrupt. He went on to say, I never misused public funds or resources in any way, and this has absolutely nothing to do with my staff. However, I don't believe it is possible or appropriate to maintain my ministerial responsible given these rules breaches. In a statement, Mr. Andrews said Mr. Donlan had advised him he'd resign from the ministry immediately. I thank Luke for his contribution to the government in his various ministerial portfolios, particularly his hard work in child protection, disability and ageing, he said. He has been a passionate advocate for vulnerable kids, people with disability and older Victorians, and he leaves a legacy of reform which he can be proud. Luke's work has seen transformation of the system for children and families in Victoria, investing in hundreds of dedicated child protection audit workers and navigators to do their important work supporting families and kids, making sure they have stable foundations to begin their lives. Mr. Andrews said he'd make no further comment due to the ongoing inquiries, and announcements on cabinet changes would be made in due course. Mr. Burns said the Labor Party was completely out of control and he had witnessed events he didn't think he'd ever see in modern ALP. I'm referring to branch stacking, coercion of staff being made to do things they didn't want to. I was referring to a party being taken over by one person whose sole objective was power and power alone. It's about getting power, really. Under question, Mr. Burns said he was referring to Mr. Sumarek, alleging he had coerced staff for a 2-year period, and also to Ms. Kairos in recent times. Mr. Byrne told the hearing Mr. Sumarek's factional power had almost developed into an existential threat for the Labor Party. The federal MP said he'd assumed Mr. Sumarek would cease his factional activities once we returned to Cabinet following the 2018 election, after being forced to resign 3 years earlier after bullying allegations. As Adam was getting more and more power, it was becoming an existential threat for the Labor Party. Mr. Burns said he understood Mr. Sumarek had threatened to remove the pre-selections of Labor MPs Pauline Richards and Gabrielle Williams. He had a view that he put the socialist left were recruiting, and he was going to respond to that and take those people out, remove their pre-selection. Council assisting Chris Carr, SC, asked if any particular MPs he and Mr. Sumarek had discussed and what he'd intended to do with those 2 state seats. Not discussed with me personally, but it was put to me, Pauline Richards and Gabrielle Williams, Mr. Burns said. He would put someone from moderate Labor or someone else he had an agreement with. Mr. Byrne admitted his involvement in branch stacking and paying for memberships and estimated he may have spent as much as $2,000 some years. The federal MP described branch stacking in the party as endemic and said there were well-entrenched systems since the 90s. He told the hearing Mr. Sumarek and Ms. Curran had a relentless focus on stacking Labor branches, and when asked if Mr. Sumarek was very happy to be ready to authorise or direct electorate or ministerial office staff to engage in these sorts of factional activities during work hours, Mr. Burns responded, yes. He agreed with Mr. Carr's assessment that factional and party political work in MP offices were an all-hands-on-deck situation, with staff expending significant energy on factional work. Mr. Burns said Upper House MP I can't pronounce the name, had been pre-selected because of the subcontinental Friends of Labor wanted an Indian MP in the Victorian Parliament in exchange for their support. He said he believed the group had been paying for memberships. Yeah, I think some of them have been sacked. The Age last week revealed Mr. Byrne, the long-standing MP for Holt and former factional ally of Mr. Sumarek, was instrumental in prompting the independent board-based anti-corruption committee probe after video recordings were covertly and lawfully made in his federal electorate office. So they've got so IBAC means the Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission. Oh. So IBAC Commissioner Robert Redlich said nothing seems to have altered since at least the 90s when Mark Dreyfus first conducted a review of the Labor Party to improve the governance and stamp out branch stacking. And the Ombudsman published a report in the Red Shirts Affair in 2018. Mr. Burns said the people believed, regardless of what the rules said, they could gain the system. IBAC heard the South East Alliance, including Mr. Byrne and Mr. Sumrak, would host fundraisers to raise money for Labor Party, with some of the money being used to pay people's membership as part of the branch stacking operation. So this is going on. IBAC also heard an ex-staffer to former federal opposition leader Bill Shorten. Steve Mickelson had paid $5,000 in return for factional support to get pre-selection for Mark Dreyfus' seat of IBAC. He would have been led to understand he would have been favourably looked upon. In a statement, Mr. Michelson denied paying for other people's memberships and said he condemns in the strongest terms anyone who systematically breached the party's rules or engaged in corrupt conduct. So IBAC is investigating allegations that Victorian public officers, including members of Parliament, engaged in the corrupt conduct by directing ministerial and electoral office staff to perform party political activities during taxpayer-funded work hours. It also is examining allegations public money intended to fund community associations was misused for party political work or other improper purposes. Branch stacking is not illegal, but it's against the ALP rules. The hearings will begin. So the hearings have begun. Alan Schruber, the former electoral officer and ministerial office executive assistant, will be questioned on Tuesday. Adam Sullivan, former electoral officer and ministerial advisor, will take the witness stand on Wednesday. So that is what's happening in Victoria. So at this stage, unlike what happened in New South Wales, at this stage, there's no direct link that the Premier is involved. So that's why when people say he should resign or should stand down, at this stage, there's no direct link that there's any involvement in that. All right. So now let's get to... and the other thing is, well, I mean, unless he has to go to IBAC, that's when he would then stand aside and the deputy would take over, and the people of Victoria really like their deputy. Okay, so let's have a look at what Bobby has got to say for us tonight, because I thought this was rather funny. In fact, I haven't watched all of it. I haven't got past it all. So this is WOACB makes a huge announcement. I am gutted. Let's have a look. Bobby.
Hi, I am Bobby. I am a robot cat. Just put on your specs, Catherine. It would at the very least hide whatever is going on there with your brows.
Oh, Bobby. Bobby.
I am absolutely gutted to deliver the news that without a fucking speck of decency announced just hours ago. Let us have a look.
Okay, so the big news. Wait, was there anything I had else about this story? I can't remember.
She can't remember.
Anything else I had about this? Okay.
Just keep notes.
She's got big news. You did suggest about buying. You did actually suggest buying about the fact that she was buying Sharpies. Well, that's what everyone was commenting about, the fact that it looked like she'd used Sharpies on her eyebrows.
Is there anything else I had about this? Okay.
Just keep notes at one of your new monitors that the passing of Gabby Petito helped you to purchase.
Let's do the big news. So my husband and I were doing some talking. First of all, I'm not pregnant.
Well, that is a relief.
That was cruel. That was cruel. Ashlyn.
That ship has sailed. I'm not getting divorced. I am not getting remarried.
Let us forward our condolences to Todd.
Are you married? We're not moving. I'm not quitting.
The bubonic plague just would not quit either.
And don't forget, COVID won't quit either.
The bubonic plague just would not quit either.
We are going to, though, add some diversity to this channel. And I like to do my main content that I know you guys love and appreciate and enjoy.
There is that fake news again.
And some diversity to this channel. We are going to...
The bubonic plague just would not quit either.
We are going to, though, add some diversity to this channel. And I like to do my main content that I know you guys love and appreciate and enjoy.
What content is that, out of interest?
There is that fake news again.
And my husband is going to start doing short clip videos of trending topics or just things that are going on in the world.
Oh, that is just fucking ace.
Oh dear.
And it's going to be called Todd's Takes.
Does this involve pastries?
Please no. I'm only a translator.
Oh, man. LOL.
And I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm a little bit scared.
Translation. I am the master of my domain, and it is quite painful to make this PR move in order to create the illusion I have a happy marriage.
But I think he'll do a really good job.
You really cannot hide the disdain for this poor bloke.
Oh yeah, Todd's Takes. It's like a halftime show.
It is actually quite sad that you cannot even manage to pretend to be excited to collaborate with your own partner beyond sending him to the grocery for box wine.
Why is she jumping around like that? Why is she jumping around like that? Oh dear me, why is she jumping around like that? Look. Look at this. Look.
Poor bloke.
Oh yeah, Todd's Takes. It's like a halftime show.
It is actually quite sad that you cannot even manage to pretend to be excited to collaborate with your own partner beyond sending him to the grocery for box wine.
It's so fun. You know,
No, I
making
don't.
people feel alienated. That's the really challenging part of being a commentator, reporter, is making sure that you're not alienating your audience. And we're just pointing out what everybody else sees. We're pointing out the fact that you're lying. And you are lying while there are children in your home that are still around this monster and pretending and acting like your audience is stupid. Like somehow they are so dumb to like come up more and doing a lot more stuff on domestic violence awareness. And so I'm going to continue to bring in stories that have stuff around domestic violence. Completely forget about the 29 911 calls and the physical abuse that he did to you and your kids. No.
Bobby's like got all the shade.
And if you're going to come up on here and tell me to grow up, no. Entertainment is on all of my videos because even though I cover like news topics, I am also offering you an opinion. And so I don't want to mislead anyone to make them believe that I'm being fully unbiased.
Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe to my channel.
So that was with Bobby, yeah. Well, he was making guitars and had to stop making guitars, didn't he? Now, let's have a look. So we're going to venture into the Katie Joy world in a minute. But I think you'll find that he wants to actually contribute to, I don't know why. Oh, all right. Oh, no. All right. This is Reddit. She's definitely living on a prayer. I don't think there's any sound on this. Whoa, JBJ. I'm 8 again. I'm in a rabbit hole. I'm a YouTuber. I'm going to write this off. So what she said she wanted to, if she went to a meet and greet with John Bon Jovi and she recorded it, she could write it off as a tax deduction. So that's where that's come from. Okay. So that's how that came about. Living on a prayer. Well, there's a video there. I'm looking for a video. No, that one. All right. So let's see what Llama Girl's got for us. So as I said, she did a live again. I haven't seen it. I mean, I could probably. Oh, wait on. Let me find it. Let me just find Living on a Prayer for you, because it's something to lo and behold. And she reckons Toad looks like John Bon Jovi, by the way. Where is she? Yeah, she says that Toad looks like John Bon Jovi. Oh, here we go. Ready? Are you ready? Once you see this, you cannot unsee it. All right? Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So you have been warned. All right? You have been warned. I have to catch bus. Okay, cool. All right, ready? Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
This is how deep I was in the rabbit hole. Like this is my 8-year-old. Like I'm like reliving my 8-year-old.
So there you go. As I said, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Thank you to Llama Girl, who has put all of these clips together. She's. I can't listen to the song anymore. She's. I don't know if that was. I don't know really. Yeah, I can't work it. It was that the original key? All right. So here we go. She's slagging off the laundries again. So the eyebrows have gone too.
Stumbling upon his remains if he's dead, or someone will actually find him and turn him in. And that's how or they're going to get a lead of somebody who sees them, and that lead is going to be tangible, it's going to be realistic, it's going to be worth following up on. And we don't know if he's dead or alive. So that's why I'm presenting two options here, simply because there is a chance he's dead. There's flat out a chance that he is not alive. There's also a chance that he is alive. And ignoring the fact that he could be dead doesn't really help. You have to, like, from an investigator standpoint, they have to consider all options. And they've even flat out said it's 50-50 at this point. They don't know. They don't know. And they can't rule out that he might be dead. So I don't know what we're going to see from his parents. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's hard because we see behavior from the laundries that's really odd. We don't see them out. We see them hiding. We see them not being forthright with the authorities. We see them changing their stories. We see them the minute that he gets called out for not searching for his son, suddenly he's in the Carlton Reserve for three fucking hours. That's it. 3 fucking hours. After weeks of your son being missing, now 3 hours of your time is being spent. And then you also admit that you went searching for him on the day that you said that he was at home. It makes no sense. It also makes no sense because the attorney says that he spoke with Brian on the 13th. Makes 0 sense.
Right, so that's that one. She's talking about grifters. We don't know what they don't know. We don't know what we don't know what they don't know. And we don't know what they do know. All right, let's have a look.
If the attorney spoke with him on the 13th, where was Brian? Where was he? He was at home with his parents. Okay, so then when did he leave? Like, nobody can actually say when he left, how he got there. And all they have is a car. And the car isn't his. That's the thing, you guys. The Mustang isn't Brian's Mustang. The Mustang belongs to his mom. So it's easy to pin this on the parents. It's easy to say that the parents know. We also don't know if they do know. That's the thing. We don't know what they don't know, and we don't know what they do know. And so
we don't know what
we also don't know if they do know. That's the thing. We don't know what they don't know, and we don't know what they do know. And so speculation fills everything, and you feel like it's odd. The stories don't add up. It doesn't make sense, but you don't know what they know. And from a reporting standpoint, you have to be so careful. You don't want to accuse them of crimes they haven't committed. You don't know if they've committed crimes, so you can't factually say that they are literally committing crimes, because in the off chance that they don't know and you accuse them of committing a crime, these parents down the line could come back and sue every network for defamation and misrepresentation. I mean, accusing someone of being a part of a murder that's not a part of a murder is a really big allegation. So it's just,
What on earth is this? Oh.
a delicate balance, and then of trying to temper the expectations of everyone that's watching, because I don't want to get myself into a situation where I am accusing people of crimes if I don't know if they've committed them. And at this point, the FBI hasn't called him a suspect. They haven't released any information about their investigation, so he's still only a person of interest. And it's so easy in the court of public opinion to have an opinion and have thoughts, feelings, and run on emotion, but we don't know any of the facts. So it's so hard, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And so all of these conspiracies are getting built and moved forward, and all of these grifters are becoming a part of this and have become a part of it, and they turn the very first few weeks of this into a circus that it didn't need to be.
Hang on, didn't she turn it into the circus? I can't work it. KJ, you have been calling BL the suspect since Gabby was found. Now you say people don't have a right to accuse him? You have a joke. You have a joke.
People that are literally reporting on stories. And there was a lot of people that got involved. And I'm not talking about reporters. I'm not talking about people that are literally reporting on story. I'm not talking about people that would actually be following up on the story regardless of who it was and what it was. I'm talking about people that physically were on the ground in Florida, inserting themselves into this case. People that had no business being there, no business harassing the families, no business protesting outside of the parents' homes. I feel like for as much as people got angry about what the Laundries have done, like, we live in a free society, and we don't have a right to just blanketly accuse people of crimes that we don't know if they've committed. And it created a sideshow. And then you start learning that the protester that's out there at the house every day has a history of doing this. And you start to realize that the guy that's harassing the Laundries is a convicted felon who has been in prison who was in prison for over 10 years. And he has a history of doing really disturbing things. Like, the guy that everyone was like cheering on for being a protester, he impersonated Adam Lanza's uncle. Okay? You know Adam Lanza? He murdered children. Tons and tons and tons of children at Sandy Hook. He is a mass murderer. And this
What?
man went to Connecticut and pretended like he was Adam Lanza's uncle, right? And he inserted himself and he reenacted the murders, and he pretended like he was murdering the kids, and he went to jail for that. After he was arrested, Sandy Hook is real, and if you say that in my chat, you're going to be removed. Because Alex Jones is the reason why people say that. It was a real murder.
Okay. All right. There's a trigger warning in this one. KJ doesn't even give a trigger warning. Okay, a trigger warning. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it.
Get the fuck out of my chat. It was a real murder. There are parents every single day that are grieving the loss of their children, and if you continue to perpetuate that bullshit, get the fuck out of my chat. Anyone that degrades what happened to children, little babies, kindergartners that were murdered while they were at school, get out. Alex Jones literally lost his suit. He has to pay millions of dollars to these families. These babies are dead. So he's going there, reenacting all of this, and after he gets arrested for that, he's put on probation for that, right? Do you know what he does after that? Then he inserts himself into Britney Spears' divorce proceedings and pretends to be Christopher Federline. And he starts questioning and openly telling people in rumor mills that Kevin Federline isn't the father of Sean Preston. And then he takes out a bogus restraining order against Britney Spears when she is in the peak of her postpartum depression and going through one of the most traumatic periods of her life. And this man harassed her to the point that, like, he got arrested for that. Anyone that is cheering this man on, that's calling for free Britney and likes Jonathan Riches, needs to check themselves, because he literally harassed Britney Spears with his bullshit. He harassed families that lost children. He literally took a restraining order against Michael Vick for no reason. It had nothing to do with the dogs, and he was in prison when he did it. He sued George Bush. He sued Martha Stewart. He pretended like he was involved in Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. This is a man who is dangerous. Jonathan.
Oh, boy. KJ Boots Tiffany, whoever Tiffany is.
He's a convicted felon. He is dangerous. This was the man that was every single time, every day, screaming and yelling at the laundries. And this is why that neighbor was livid. The poor neighbors in the laundries community were harassed by this man. And that man, this convicted felon, who has a long history of doing really dangerous things, is going up to his doors and looking into his windows and taking photos of his house on his property. And then that man is a Marine who served 14 years and was discharged honorably, who has PTSD, who fought in wars, and he sees a man on his security cameras going up to his house and literally looking in his windows. Is Tiffany saying that it's not true? So then when this neighbor finds all of this, this poor Marine, when he confronts them, this man served 14 years in our military. He was in war, and he had a fucking felon taking photographs of his house, looking in his windows and watching his stepson play video games. Like, how would you feel if you're looking on your security camera and a felon is taking photographs of your house? And Tiffany, goodbye. We're not arguing here.
Interesting. How do you know that the person's a felon? Do they stand outside the window with a sign that says I'm a felon? What's being said is not funny, but the way that she said it, it's. Have a listen to what she says again.
A felon is taking photographs of your house, looking on your security camera, and a felon is taking photographs of your house. And Tiffany, goodbye.
You wouldn't know that they were a felon until you actually rang and reported them, correct? How do you...
We're not arguing here. And you have people literally taking photographs of your house. A felon. Here, this is him. Jonathan Riches poses as Adam Lanza's uncle, gets arrested.
All right, here we go.
After he got out of prison. Sues Michael Vick, takes out a restraining order while he's in prison for no reason. He goes to rallies and he doesn't care what side he's on as long as he can get in the photograph and get attention. So he went to all of the different rallies, and as long as he could get a photo op with someone, this is like, yeah, that was his handwritten thing because he was in prison. Like he's escalating. He's doing more and more dangerous things. He sued Blizzard of causing me to live in an alternate universe. He sued Grand Theft Auto after he was in the makers of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, don't talk
He
about.
spent 10 years in prison for fraud, and then
She's not going to talk about. She's not going to talk about games, is she?
he got out and sued Grand Theft Auto and said that they made him commit wire fraud. He was indicted for filing 40 lawsuits. Remember Gabrielle Gifford, the representative who was shot? Remember? In Florida or in Arizona? Gabrielle Gifford, she was shot. Remember her? He got involved in that too. He got involved in Bernie Madoff's case. He has gotten involved in so many cases. He got involved in the Chris Watts case. He has gotten involved in so many cases. He's the most litigious man in the world, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. And he sued them for that.
Yeah, she would get somebody else to do it for her. All right. It says, this is funny. She could be talking about herself. All right, let's have a listen.
Potatoes from Adam. He doesn't know I'm a friend of the potatoes. He's not a friend of the potatoes. He doesn't know the potatoes from Adam. He doesn't know the potatoes from no different than he knows Kevin Federline or that he knows Adam Lanza. He doesn't know the potatoes. He's a psychotic troll that is dangerous, that has been in federal prison, that's on probation, and he just inserts himself and he is berating Cassie, screaming at her. And I don't care if you don't like Cassie Laundrie, but nobody should have to worry about a felon screaming and yelling at them and demanding answers from them when you are on probation and like you spent a decade in federal prison. So this is what became of this case. And he got so much attention and he got so much accolades, and now he's out protesting at a Trump rally because that's the big story in the news. And, you know, whatever, that's where he goes. Every story, he's just gonna go on to the next. He's posing as an advocate for victims. He's not an advocate for victims. He's a victimizer. He's an abuser. He's doing this for attention. He's clearly emotionally ill. And he's filed so many lawsuits that they don't even allow him to sue people. And I believe at one point he was placed in a mental, like a state, or you know how like when somebody is insane, and they're not a good fit for prison and they have to go to like a hospital instead. He was literally in a hospital, I believe, at one point.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know what his...
Alrighty. Uh-oh. Just so she's talking about...
on probation, but I don't know where he's at today. But see, they're not called insane asylums anymore. They're medical centers or medical health or hospitals or like mental health psychiatric wards, like a psychiatric ward. And it's not a 5150. A 5150 is a short period of time where they can evaluate you and determine. It wasn't a 5150. It was because of he was placed, I'm told, a psychiatric facility. Like a state psychiatric facility. So the woman that was with him has a criminal history too, and she does this as well. And it's long-term inpatient mental health facilities, psychiatric wards of hospitals. There's lots of different names for them. There are some states that still call them mental institutions. It just depends on, and the state terminology is always so far removed. I mean, they literally just removed the R word out of the government documents not too long ago. So it just tells you how far removed they are from all this stuff. So he was the one that was on the blowhorn, that was harassing Cassie, that was manically asking her questions, demanding answers from her, literally telling her we're friends with the Petitos. She's not friends with the Petitos. So that aspect of it, no, I think people do need to know who he is so that they don't buy into it and they stop giving him attention. He already has the attention, so he needs people to remind people, this is this guy, right? This is this guy. This is the guy that tormented victims' families of Sandy Hook and was arrested. This is...
Gee whiz.
Uncle. This is the guy that harassed Britney Spears. This is the guy that harassed George Bush. This is the guy that harassed Martha Stewart. This is the guy that pretended he was involved with Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme, right? You need to remind people of that so that they don't look at him as credible, so that they don't think like, oh, what he's doing is a good thing, you know? What a JV. There's just a lot of stuff that's been happening online that it created a circus. Exactly. This case is turning into so many things other than justice for Gabby. So it is like he has to insert himself into everything that's the news, which is different than somebody reporting on a story, right? So journalists or bloggers that are already reporting on crime or news or whatever.
Hello, Kelly. So she's trying to say that's why she's saying about it, because she's reporting, I guess.
They're not inserting themselves into stories. They would be doing the job anyway. People that physically are inserting themselves, walking up to people's houses, demanding answers from the victims or from the family of the alleged perpetrator. It's a whole another level of insanity. And then Dog, the bounty hunter, also inserted himself into this case. And when it was revealed, and it doesn't feel coincidental to me, and this is my opinion, but Dog the bounty hunter was fired from his most recent reality show for using homophobic language and racist language directed at the kids that were on the show that were Black. And the network does stuff around Black Lives Matter, and the CEO has a criminal history, but also uses his platform to, foster social inclusion and promote social justice topics. So doing good things, and Dog's daughter Bonnie is a part of it, and she has a show on there. And
Oh.
Dog was interfering in the Brian Laundrie investigation.
Oh, no.
And he got in trouble, I'm confident, because he stopped leaking information.
He got in trouble. She's confident. She's confident he got in trouble. Have a listen to what she's saying about him.
No, Dog was interfering in the Brian Laundrie investigation is what Dog was doing. And he got in trouble, I'm confident, because he stopped leaking information to the media, and they didn't need his help. Like, he was creating chaos is what he was doing. And he put up a post at one point and said, like, I'm going to help authorities, I'm going to work with authorities, and I'm not going to hinder their investigation. So, anyways, it comes out that he was promoting this to 3 separate networks, and then the very next day, while he's looking for Brian again, and even his daughters came out and were like, this is staged, it's phony, it's not real, who's paying for this? My dad's not paying for this, I guarantee you he's not paying for this. Mind you, I think in August, TMZ reported that he still owes $1 million on another lawsuit that he lost. So on Thursday or Friday, he gets slapped with a $1.3 million breach of contract lawsuit from the network that he was supposed to do the show
Did you see she was smiling?
with for defamation, breach of contract, and illegal
Look, she's laughing. She's laughing.
activities. So I'm sorry, I got her back. Okay. So anyways, he gets slapped with a $1.3 million lawsuit, and then suddenly he was by. Lisa's like, I've got really big news. We're going to announce it tomorrow. She deletes the tweet. Lisa Chapman. She deletes the tweet. She stops tweeting about it. And then she's like, her dad, he hurt his ankle, but then she says that he has business that he needs to attend to. And he's going to raise funds. He's not going to hire anyone. Even if there's people searching right now, they're not going to find Brian Laundrie. All he's doing this for is for fame. Is he really that ignorant? I don't think so, but I know that he has a history of being extremely racist, and that's. I love Kevin from Entertainment Tonight too. Is that Entertainment Tonight or is it E? Is it Entertainment Tonight? I think it's Entertainment Tonight. But anyways, it was Kevin that was interviewing him, and Kevin was just like dumbfounded. And even Bonnie said that Beth was not cool, was not down with the racism, and reeled that aspect of Dog in. And then as soon as Beth was gone, it was like he reverted back to who he was before Beth and was racist, back to his racism, back to his homophobia. And everyone would say, well, he's not homophobic. He has a daughter that's LGBTQ+. Kevin Frazier, yes. You can still be homophobic and have a family member that's gay. That doesn't matter. It's like saying that I'm not racist because I have a black friend. You can still be racist. So it's just, Dog is now gone, and John, I hope he doesn't come back. And he was, Jen has experience in, she has experience on reality television. So Jen does know him. Anyways, yeah. So
this is unbelievable. Hello, Alberta and Stella.
Exactly, yeah. Here's the thing is, like, they've changed their story story, and the FBI isn't going to tell us shit about what they know and what the parents have told us, and they shouldn't tell us anything. And it's not CSI. This case won't be wrapped up in 5 minutes. Story. Everyone was like, everyone knew the story. The entire state of Minnesota turned their lights on blue for Jacob, because for 25 years, or we put not our lights blue, but we turned our lights on. Who was the girl that was abducted? JC, she was found alive. JC Dugard, or Duggard, yeah, JC Duggard. She was abducted, and she was being held at her captor's house for decades. She fathered children, or she mothered children with her captor for decades.
Did you just hear what she said? She fathered children.
For decades. She fathered children.
She fathered children. Let's have a listen to that again.
For decades. She fathered children, or she mothered children with her captor.
Oh, hello, Sky. Welcome. She fathered children.
And she was finally found when they finally searched his backyard. So there are kids that, like, there was another guy. Oh gosh, I can't remember what his name is. He abducted 3 girls. And then they were found years later, too. But, I mean, in Ohio. Ariel Castro, yes. Ariel Castro. She and, like, 2 other girls were abducted in Cleveland. Yeah, in Cleveland. And, like, held captive in a house for years. There's people that go missing, like, literally every day. There are...
You missed the word fathered? I think it was back here. Hang on.
Duggard, yeah, JC Duggard. She was being held at her captor's house for decades. She fathered children, or she mothered children with her.
And then did she say she smothered children? Have a listen again. Have a listen, because she said, I'm sure she said she smothered children. Have a listen.
Or she mothered children with her captors. She fathered children, or she mothered children with her captor.
She smothered children with her captor, is what I thought it said. She went from fathered to smothered. I think she meant to say mothered, but I thought it sounded like smothered.
Oh yeah, John Benet Ramsey. Casey Anthony. $1959. Yeah, we just talked to 1958. 1958 or 59. There's 43 new cases that the FBI has listed as top priorities of cases that all involve kids, and a lot of the kids that are on that list are children of minorities. It's unbelievable how many kids that go missing, that don't get the media attention, that don't get anybody looking for them. There's just, Brian Laundrie is now one of a lot of people that are missing. And I'm only seeing that he's missing in the aspect that we don't know where he is. There's no Amber Alerts for children that are over 18. There's nothing for Amber Alerts or alerts for anyone that goes missing between like 18 and like, I don't even know, like 60, 65. So they have alerts for seniors and they have alerts for children, but there's nothing for alerts for young adults or adults. And Gabby Petito's family was actually talking about how one of the things that they really want to do is try to get a law so that there's an alert system for missing adults, because it slipped through the cracks because of her age, because of her being an adult. They say that she can be missing if she wants to be missing.
Is this nearly done? How many more of these are there to go? Oh, there's heaps. Oh, no, we're nearly done. I think we're nearly done. And then I'm finishing because I can't.
Went missing in 19.
I won't be able to deal with this anymore.
That the FBI is.
After this, I'm done.
But there's nothing for just like normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill adults. Sophie Long was abducted by her father 95 days ago. They've never put out a missing person report. They don't even have a felony warrant out yet for her dad for kidnapping. He has no parental rights. He kidnapped her. He has been terminated because of her. He's completely mentally incompetent, or he's mentally unstable. His psychological review showed that he was dangerous, suffering from narcissism, among other delusional personality issues. And the state of Texas has done nothing. 95 days.
Oh.
Michael Long is very dangerous. Michael Long is paranoid. He's armed. He has a lot of guns. There's not the same kind of alert system for like adults as there are for like adults with disabilities or elderly or children. Good? Thanks for leaving. I don't think Sophie's okay, no. She's on the run with her father. She fell behind in school. She's not eating right. Like, is the life on a run good for a child? No. She's being withheld from her parents, from her brothers.
Wait on. She just said, hang on. She just said she's been withheld by her parents. Isn't she with her dad? Out of interest. The picnic was good. The fox, the picnic was good. Have a listen to that. She said she's away from her parents. She's with her dad. Now, I'm not here condoning what Michael Long has done. I'm not getting involved in all of that. But
behind in school, she's not eating right. Like, is life on a run good for a child? No. She's being withheld from her parents,
She was going to say she's being withheld from her kids. Have a listen. From
her parents.
From her children. She's been withheld from her children. Have a listen.
She's being withheld from her parents.
She's been withheld from her children, she's trying to say, but she goes parents. But she's with her dad.
She's being withheld from her parents, from her brothers. She's being withheld from her family. She's probably not in school. He can't be in school. She can't be in school because if he enrolls her in school, he can't be in school.
He can't be in school? He can't be in school? Really? Who's supposed to be at school? Sophie or Michael?
She can't be in school because if he enrolls her in school, she's a missing person.
Okay, we're nearly done, hopefully.
Just wanted to we've been talking about the Gabby story. Anyways, as we're going back to this, the state of Texas is doing nothing to find her. Nothing. He has a contempt of court warrant out. His rights have been terminated. He has a pending order for jail. They've already ordered him to go to jail. Like, he has when he's found, he'll go to jail for like months, and yet they've not done anything. It's really, it's disheartening. So, anyways, my title says that we're talking about missing people. So if it upsets you, there's no need to watch. It's always...
See you, the fox.
Sorry. My title was clear, what we were talking about. And if you click on it and you can't handle it, just click out. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm sorry it depresses you that people...
Wow! So people are being triggered and she doesn't care because that's what her title says.
People are missing. Be glad that you're not missing. Be glad that you don't have a murdered family member that...
How does she know that they don't have? How does she know the situation of the people watching her? Have a listen to what she's saying. Yeah, we've only got 1, 2. Oh, gee, we've still got... I thought we were nearly done. I'm just about done. She's just about done me. Have a listen to this again.
People are missing. Be glad that people are missing. Be glad that you're not missing. Be glad that you don't have a murdered family member that you don't have justice for.
How does she know?
Be glad that you're being selfish and ignorant.
No way.
For these people that are missing their children and their family members. I'm so glad that you're that ignorant. And, making comments like that is ignorant. The reason why this stuff keeps going on is because nobody wants to talk about it.
Wow.
Nobody wants to talk about this kind of shit because it makes people feel uncomfortable. But what about the family members that have someone that's missing? Or a family member that's been murdered?
Wow. I can't believe she said that. You want me to go back? Go back to what part?
Sad kind of shit because it makes people feel uncomfortable. But what about the family members that have someone that's missing? Or a family member that's been murdered?
Wow. Unbelievable. No. Especially
we need people to talk about things that are not comfortable We need people to talk about child sexual abuse. We need people to talk about child sex trafficking. We need to talk about the deplorable. The reason why I cover the Josh Duggar stuff so much is because of the completely disgusting, underground, illegal sex trade world of child sexual abuse material for pedophiles that is disgusting and is
Yes, this is her Instagram. I'm sorry, Alberta.
most worst crimes in the world. If that makes you sick, you don't want to hear it, just be glad that you're not the person that's involved with it, you know, like, it's disgusting what happens. I mean, even rape in the United States is under-prosecuted. Less than 1% of rapes are prosecuted. Less than
really?
1% of rapists ever go to jail, ever.
Why?
How do you actually, like, spread awareness if nobody wants to talk about it? If you want to live in a cushy land where nobody does anything, that's fine. But my channel and my platform has never been about that. I don't like to look the other way. I don't want to look the other way. I've never looked the other way. I was calling out Michael Long well before anyone else did. I lost subscribers. I got doxxed. I got harassed. I got completely destroyed by other people because I saw that Michael Long was abusing his daughter, and
has that allegation ever been made?
Guess what? I was right, and now she's abducted. And I was trying to prevent people from getting sucked into what he was doing, because what he did was he made a ton of money off of his lies, and now he's on the run.
Oh, no. I'm not going to talk about, she talks about George Floyd there. Summer Wells. True crime, not going to go there. All right, I'm not going to go there. She's talking about, she covers violence against women. Oh. I don't know, I'm not going to go there. No, not going to go there. Not going to go there. I think we're going to leave it there for the night because I just cannot. Apparently she gets something wrong about a motorbike and Toad has to correct her. Oh, there's heaps here. Look, it was a very long live. Oh, now she talks about Bon Jovi cheating on his wife, apparently. All right, see ya, plan to create. So she's, oh, it goes on for ages and ages and ages. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So she did a live Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. And the Sunday night one was, it was V's birthday. I'm told. So let me try and find something funny to finish off with. Seems half cut to me, and then so anyway, yeah. In fact, I can't find anything at the moment, and my eyelids are starting to close. So I'm gonna have to. We're gonna call it there. So thank you if you made it all the way through to the end. That was painful in parts, and I cut half of it because it was just getting beyond a joke for me. I can't believe some of that stuff. I agree that these subjects need to be talked about, but there is a way to talk about them, and that's not the way to do it, in my opinion. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight and being with me, and I will catch you. Whoops, I've just gone blurry. I swear I haven't touched the juice. I don't drink. So I will catch you again very soon. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll catch you again soon. Oops, thank you for watching.